Alright, let me start off this video by saying, I'm very set in my ways when it comes to my opinion of video games. If I dislike a game, I dislike a game. If I like a game, I like a game. And I hardly ever really change my viewpoint on these sorts of things. But my opinion is not set in stone. I do change from time to time. I hate games less, I love games more. Things that I used to like, I dislike now, like Metal Gear Solid. And things that I used to hate, I like now, like, I guess FPS games. I used to hate them, now I love them. Anywho, what we're going to talk about, as this fucking thing chokes me because I have a fat fucking neck, Dragon's Dogma, which I have 2 copies of. Before I talk about Dragon's Dogma, I want to go through my experience I had with it. 2 experiences. My first one, and then replaying it and actually enjoying it, but still having problems with it. When I first popped in Dragon's Dogma, I hated it. The reason I hated it was I was told it was an RPG, I told it was hack and slash, all that stuff. Dragon's Dogma doesn't start off with like the normal RPG stuff. You create your character, you sign points and things like that. It started off with a flashback sequence of you playing as another Arisen in another time. And I'm not going to explain Arisen or any of that. You can play the fucking game because the story is actually pretty good. Um, it started off with you playing as someone else, and the thing that bothered me about it was, for some reason, it set off in my head memories of Dragon Age 2, which is a fucking awful game. And so initially, my opinion of it was shit, because I hate Dragon Age 2, and that's what it reminded me of. So, of course, initially, I didn't like it. What happened was my friend MBP, I don't remember what exactly happened, but he started posting and telling me about Dragon Age. Started posting and telling me about Dragon's Dogma. He said, "Dude, you should try it. You should give it a second chance." Blah blah. And so initially, I decided to give it a second chance. What I did was I borrowed a copy of Dragon Age from my buddy Enoch, which I now own. This is the first copy of Dragon Age. This is the first version that came out. I will talk about this version in a second. I borrowed it from him, and he's like, "Dude, sweet, you're playing Dragon Age. Now you can get my pawn, and it can come help you in your world." He doesn't sound like that. No disrespect. Um, I wanted to get his pawn, which is a character you create in the game to help you. Everyone has their own personal pawn. I'll explain these things in a minute. I wanted to get his pawn, but I couldn't get his pawn because he had the Dark Arisen, the Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which is the second version. It has an expansion pack. It has new armor, new weapons, all kinds of stuff. I couldn't get his pawn because technically he had DLC that I didn't, and it's fucking Capcom, so you see my issue there. I also didn't have the Eternal Fairy Stone, which is an item you need for fast travel, because the game is huge without fucking fairy stones. And they're expensive. So initially I started playing the game and I was having fun with it. Once I got in and created my character and started on my path, it was actually really enjoyable. The game is straight up hack and slash. I could compare it a little bit to Devil May Cry. It's not as ridiculous as Devil May Cry, but it has the hack and slash, it has the RPG, it has night and day sequences, it has questing, it has levels, it has attributes, it has classes, it has all kinds of really good stuff in it. If you're an RPG fan and a hack and slash fan, this game will give you a great entertainment value for your dollars. So, what happened was when I finally got a copy of Dark Arisen, which is this version, I ordered it off Amazon for $40 and it came in the mail, and I popped her in and installed the HD texture pack, which was pretty nice. And I didn't bother to install the Japanese voice acting because I speak English and I'm not a fucking weeaboo. When I popped it in, it immediately upgraded my game save, and I had the Eternal Fairy Stone, I had new armor, and I could finally get Jason's pawn into my game, Jason MVP. I have like 4 Jasons I'm friends with, so that gets confusing. I brought his pawn Rose in my world. She was a fucking beast, and she helped me throughout the game, and it was very enjoyable. I had a problem with it, though. Jason wanted to send me armor and weapons and stuff like that. The character that I made in Dragon's Dogma was like me. He's a big guy, he's got a beard, he likes using daggers and bows. So, of course, I wanted to make a character that would juxtapose my own. So I made a little bitty, thin, black girl named Priscilla. She's itty bitty. She's tiny. And I made her like that because I just wanted something that juxtaposed my character. And the problem was because she was female and a different class, which you can change classes mid-game. You can be whatever you want. I eventually settled on Magic Archer because the Magick Bow is awesome. she was a different gender, so he couldn't give her certain armor. And so he told me, go visit this particular character, buy this item, and you can use it from the main menu, and you can change Priscilla into a dude. And I'm like, what? Why would I want to change Priscilla into a dude? And what happened was, I changed Priscilla into a dude, he sent her armor and things, and then I couldn't change her back. Once you beat the game, you unlock the ability to change your pawn and your main Arisen at any time. You can change the way they look at any time on the fly. Until you beat the game, though, you can only do it once. And I was stuck with Priscilla walking around as a default male character. I was livid. I wasn't mad at Jason, I was just mad at the game. I finally said, fuck it, because I couldn't play like that. When I play RPGs, I fucking role play. I get into it. I absolutely loved Fallout New Vegas on hardcore mode. I love role playing. I like to get in the experience. So I said, fuck it, and decided to start all over. At this point, I had Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. I had borrowed this from Enoch. And what happened was, when I started a new game on just Dark Arisen, I didn't have the goodies. I didn't have the one thing I wanted, which was the Eternal Fairy Stone. When you go from just vanilla Dragon's Dogma to Dark Arisen, it just gives you the Eternal Fairy Stone, which you want. I didn't have it. So I was pissed off that morning because I had to start a new game. I had to go all the way down to my friend Enoch's house, borrow Dragon's Dogma, come back, pop in Dragon's Dogma, go through the process of creating my character, save, and then pop in Dark Arisen so I could get the fucking Eternal Fairy Stone. That process sucked ass. So I tell you all of that because if you really want to have a lot of fun with Dragon's Dogma, I really do recommend you get 2 copies of it. Get a regular copy of Dragon's Dogma, which is cheap as shit, and then go buy Dark Arisen. Start up on Dragon's Dogma, save the first chance you get, quit, pop in Dark Arisen, and then play from there, and you will have a great time. It is a great fucking video game, and I'm going to tell you why. Alright, where to begin on Dragon's Dogma? Well, like every RPG, you can make your own character, and the level of customization is actually very, very deep. Obviously, male or female, whatever race, things like that. You can choose how tall they are. Hell, if you play a female character or make a female pawn, you can choose the bust size because it's Capcom. There's a lot of customization there. Granted, a lot of the equipment and clothing sucks. It took me till I got to Grand Soren to find some outfits that I actually liked. And at that point, it was just denim jeans and a gray shirt and some armor. That was about it. I looked fucking ridiculous. The level of customization for your character is rather deep. And with Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, it adds even more levels of customization. Like, you can choose, like, scars on your face and on your arms. I chose to make a character that had a scar. I can't remember which side of his face it was on. But I made him a scar, and then I made the eye that had the scar red, and the other eye was blue. And I thought that looked cool. My dude also had a nice big beard and short hair like me. No glasses, though. There's no glasses in that world. But the level of customization is very, very deep. I can't really explain it to you, but you'll just have to check it out. Like, there's plenty of different faces. There's plenty of different eyes, mouths, noses. You can even choose to edit the variables on them. Like, you choose a certain set of eyes, and then you can edit how big they are, how spaced out they are, things like that. And the one thing I love about RPGs when I create my characters and everything, I don't want to fuck up Priscilla or Kanye, my character, ever again. So I've written down exactly what their options are for their face, every little detail, so that I can always get them back the way that I want if I ever change them. There's great detail there. You can create a number of different characters. What drove me crazy is when I was online and saw so many default pawns, I was like, damn it, you guys didn't edit shit, you lazy fucks. But aside from creating a character, you can also do classes. You're going to gain 2 different things while you play this game. You're going to gain experience and you're going to gain discipline. Experience is for your character, how strong you are, how much health you are, how much stamina you have. This game does not play like Dark Souls. I came right off Dark Souls to play this. It does not play anything like that. You won't die as much, but you'll have problems if you try to play it like Dark Souls. But your classes are varied. Pawns, which are characters you create at a certain point in the game, you'll get the chance to create your pawn, and that's your partner character that helps you throughout the game. Pawns can only learn up to 6 classes. They can be a a fighter, a strider, or a mage. The next 3 classes are a warrior, a ranger, and a sorcerer. Just a second. I talk so much and my throat gets so dry. Oh my god. Your character, however, can learn all those 6 classes, and he can learn an extra 3, which are called hybrid classes. They combine different classes together. So there's, of course, Magic Archer, Magic Knight, and there is Assassin. Assassin was the last one. These are hybrid classes. The Assassins can use daggers and bows. The Magic Knights can use magic and knight shields, which are not available for the other classes. Like warriors, they can use big, huge swords, and fighters can use swords and shields. And the Magic Archer can use daggers and magic bows, which are fucking awesome. Imagine you're aiming with a bow, and it's magical, so it has auto-targeting for you. It's awesome. I love it. It's great. You can switch any class at any time between your character and your pawn. So let's say you start off as a fighter, you're not really digging it, you can switch over to ranger, and you can see if you like that better. Or strider if you're still a low level. You have to unlock these classes. The way you unlock them, and the way you power them up, and the way you get different abilities, yes, there are abilities, there's different attacks, there's different stats, there's even augments, which makes your character have more stamina, more health, all kinds of things, is through discipline. Discipline is another thing that's separate from experience that you gain as you play. I found a way to abuse the fuck out of this system, and I can't really tell you until you beat the dragon in Dragon's Dogma. If you want to know how to abuse it later, I will tell you exactly how to abuse it and max your characters out without even playing. But you fight enemies and you get discipline. Different enemies give a certain different amount of discipline. You tell how much level you are in your class by little red circles, whatever. The fucking meter fills up and you have a higher level. But you can use discipline to purchase new classes. You can use discipline to buy new abilities. Like, I was an assassin for a long time before I became a magic archer. And if you are... any ability that specifies it's for daggers is for any other class that uses daggers. So, because I got my abilities as an assassin, I could still use them as a magic archer because I had fucking daggers. The abilities I got was things like double jump and the dodge roll. There is a dodge roll in the game, like out of Demon's Souls, and you can use it, and it's great. So, you can mix-match abilities, you can mix-match augments to make your character more durable, make them have more health, or typically make their magic bow do a ton of damage. I swear to God, the magic bow. Get the magic bow! Anywho, I really like this game, if you can't tell. When you start off your quest and everything, you're going to have just your character. You'll run into a default pawn that you can boot the very second you make a new pawn. But making your new pawn has a lot of different advantages to it. Number one, right off the bat, you're going to have an extra character questing with you. And you're going to want one because the game is fucking hard at some points. Your pawn that you make, you can create them any way you want. You can make them look as dumb or as awesome as you feel. Your pawn, of course, you'll manage their classes as well as their abilities. You get separate disciplines, so you don't have to worry about them eating into your pool of experience. But the really cool thing about this game is it doesn't have co-op and it doesn't have multiplayer, per se. Your pawn, your default pawn, and everyone else's default pawn is available online. What happens is you create your pawn, which is always with you in the game regardless unless you let them get killed and you never revive them. Which, don't worry, they won't die permanently. You just go back and summon them from the rift. They'll be fine. You have your default pawn, and you can select up to 2 other pawns, which are the main pawns for every other player on the server. So let's say, like me, I had my pawn Priscilla, and I got my buddy MVP's pawn Rose. I brought her into my game, and she helped me. She decimated the fuck out of Cyclopses for me. I could also get my buddy Enoch's pawn, or I could get Taylor's pawn. You can have a party up to 4. You, your pawn, and then 2 others. That's really cool. I would love it if it had some sort of co-op. Maybe if they make another game, they can do some sort of co-op feature. But being able to go online and get pawns is awesome. Now, you can't just get any pawn. If it's a super powerful pawn that's like level 200, it's going to cost a bajillion Rift Crystals to buy. But if you add that person to your friends list and they accept it, you can get that pawn for free, which is what I did. Cha-ching. It's a really cool system. When you have a pawn in your world, it helps you. It helps you get experience. It helps you with quests. If it's knowledgeable of quests, like let's say the person played with this pawn through the whole game and it knows what the fuck it's doing, it will aid you in quest knowledge as well as combat knowledge. Let's say you come up across a Cyclops and you never fought one. You got no clue how to tackle this thing. A pawn will shout out, you've got to aim for the eye, take it out at the ankles, that sort of thing. If the pawn knows how to kill a Cyclops, it'll fucking jump up and grab the Cyclops and start killing it. I'll talk about the gameplay in a second. The cool thing, though, is when you send pawns back, you can rank them. You can tell how they did. You can even send a little gift with them. And this benefits you as well. If someone takes your pawn into their world, let's say they put some new armor on your pawn. That armor will come back to you. So let's say someone gives you super powerful Dragon's Vein daggers like they did with my Priscilla. It comes back to me, and she has super powerful daggers. I can choose to wield them myself, or I can let her keep them. I let her keep them because she's a beast. This is a great feature as well. I had people giving me all kinds of items. I don't know if Priscilla was really popular because she's a girl. There's creepy pervos, but I got a lot of really cool stuff and a lot of cool equipment from my buddy MVP. He gave me weapons that were absolutely decimating the shit out of bosses on my game. And you're going to want these weapons because bosses in this game are not a normal affair for RPGs. Like I said, the gameplay is hack and slash. You play this game differently than other RPGs like Dragon Age. You'll run up and you'll hack and slash small enemies like wolves and bandits and things like that. But bosses in this game are fucking bloody huge. And the way you fight them is pretty much like Shadow of the Colossus. You jump up on them, you press the right trigger, and you grab them and start climbing all over their body. If it's a Cyclops, obviously the weak point is the eye. You can stand on the ground and shoot at its eye with a bow and arrow, or you can climb up its face and stab it in the eye. You can cut Hydra heads off. You can jump up onto a griffin and start stabbing it in the side of the head. It is visceral, it is epic, and it is fun. There's nothing like the experience of jumping onto a drake and then it taking off into the air and you're still on top of it stabbing away. Now, like I said, the game is hard. You have a stamina feature. So if you run out of stamina, you're going to fall the fuck off. And if you fall off a drake that's in the sky, you're dead. But it's a lot of fun, it's visceral, and when you've got you and your pawns and your buddy's pawns, it's a lot of fun. Like I said before, the game has quests, all kinds of features. There's two main hubs in the game. There's Casardis and there's Grand Soren. You can fast travel in between these two places. Like I said, you're going to want to get the Eternal Fairy Stone. But you can put port crystals in other places, and you can fast travel there as well. The game also has a New Game Plus feature, and when you go into New Game Plus, your port crystals stay where you left them. So I basically cheated on my New Game Plus. I put port crystals where I wanted to, beat the game, and then went through the New Game Plus fast as fuck because I fast traveled to every major place I needed to go. And it was awesome. But fast travel is a feature that you're going to want to have. Because I had the Eternal Fairy Stone and I could fast travel, the game was a lot smaller than it could have been. If you just get vanilla Dragon's Dogma or you get Dark Arisen, you're going to find the game is massive. There is no normal kind of fast travel. You need to use Fairy Stones. And that'll fuck you up really good. But the game world is absolutely massive. There's plenty of places to go. I won't say it's as big as Skyrim exactly, because you can get around Skyrim like a motherfucker. But the place is still pretty big. And there's plenty of locales to go. There's plenty of people to visit. There's plenty of quests to take part in. You can take quests at any time. You have your main quests. You've got billboards that you can visit and get quests for like killing goblins or finding items for people because you can pick stuff up in the world. You got all kinds of stuff you can pick up. There's also a weight system, so don't over-encumber yourself. But the really cool thing is just getting quests. There's even an achievement I haven't gotten yet for getting all of the non-billboard quests that are optional side quests. There's a lot to do. When you're first playing Dragon's Dogma, you're going to want to do every single billboard quest. You just run in and get every single one. Be careful of accepting certain ones because if you accept an escort quest, you will literally have a character following you around infinitely. Unless you go do their damn quests. I did this. I had the fucking village chief from Casardis following me around. I finally asked my buddy Jason, I'm like, why the fuck is this guy following me around? Take him to the Shadow Fort. Why? Because he will never leave. Take him to the Shadow Fort. So that was pretty fucking hilarious. Don't accept the escort quest until you intend to escort them. And if you put your port crystals out, you can literally take a quest, fucking fly or whatever to the place, and finish the quest lickety split. It's a great way to cheat. I love it. Um, be careful when questing though, because like I said, bosses are big, and you will literally just run into a fucking chimera out in the middle of the woods, and it will wreck your shit. So be very careful of that. But Dragon's Dogma, essentially, I gave it a shit stamp when I first played it. I didn't really give it a real go. I didn't even make it past the tutorial, honestly. But after playing it again and playing it extensively, the game is quite good. The story itself, you're going to need to pay attention. The story is a little hands-off. It's not big Dovahkiin shit like in Skyrim, but it is a lot more grandiose than it appears to be. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. When the game starts off, you're just a dude in a fisherman's village at Casardis. A giant dragon attacks, you try to fend it off by hitting at its ankles and can't do shit because you're level 1 and you suck. It takes your heart. It creates a magical pact with you and makes you a being called the Arisen. You are tethered to the dragon through magic. You no longer have a heart, it has your fucking heart. This story is fucking epic. I'm not lying. At the very beginning, you're not going to understand stuff. You're going to play through the main quest. You're going to be like, why the fuck does this matter? Don't worry. The more you play the main quest, the more will be revealed to you. And the end of this game, like, the name of the dragon is Grigori. That's not a spoiler. His name is Grigori. After you beat Grigori, you're not even at the end of the game. I shit you not. The game has an epic climax. It's great. I loved it. I played through the whole game again, got to the ending again, and I loved it as much the fucking second time. If you haven't played Dragon's Dogma, I really must ask that you try it out. I didn't like it at first because I'm a cynical prick. Tried it out again, found it to be a fantastic game. It's absolutely positively worth every penny of your hard-earned dollars. And like I said before, I really do recommend get a copy of Vanilla Dragon's Dogma, get a copy of Dark Arisen. Pop in Dragon's Dogma, make character, save in First Town. Pop in Dark Arisen, get Eternal Fairy Stone, and absolutely bombard the game and enjoy all of its awesome. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've talked for quite a long time about Dragon's Dogma, but it's a game that deserves a lot of discussion. It's fun, it's frenetic, it's epic, it's involved, it's deep, it's good. I like it. And I have good taste, so go fucking play it. Rent it, borrow it, Gamefly, Redbox, I don't know what the hell. Get your hands on a copy of it and check it out. And if you like it, come back here and let me know. If you played the game before and you liked it, fucking comment down below. Let me know what you think. I enjoyed Dragon's Dogma. I even enjoyed that shitty-ass J-pop fucking song that got stuck in my head for days. I like it. I think you'll like it too. And at this point, we really need to show Capcom exactly what we want them to make as opposed to what they think we want them to make. Rest in peace, Mega Man. Hello, Mighty Number 9. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I might just go play some Dragon's Dogma after this. Take care, everybody.